Sure. Like antibiotics. They just disrupt bacteria, good bacteria, and when you're on a longer duration on an antibiotic, they can disrupt your gut lining too.
Oh, is that why they made it?
Yeah, that's why they sometimes give probiotics along with antibiotics. I don't know how that works because antibiotics even kill probiotics. They even kill the good bacteria.
But then, what do you do? Like, sometimes there's no choice. It's dangerous if you don't take it.
There are lots of choices. You know, unfortunately, the doctors don't know, but there are lots of choices which you can naturally kill your bacteria. Like H. pylori, there's one thing we do from aromatherapy. We take a food grade Manuka essential oil and then we blend it in certain ratio with Manuka honey. And Manuka honey with plus 15 UMF. So it works as a natural antibiotic. It will not kill off your good bacteria. There are lots of things you can do, like lots of things. And then the number one thing you guys can do is doing these, like avoiding too much sugar, because the bad bacteria, they feed on sugar. They produce more gas. They multiply when they get sugar. Stress can also be the same. The physical stress, like we saw the gut lining when it was deteriorating, that's physical stress. Or other kind of stresses. I don't know how mental stress can harm your gut lining, but I do know the other way around, how not good gut lining can harm your mental health. So it could be like both ways, but I don't know. Hydration, drinking non-fluorine water, clean water, not the tap water.
There are studies that show that what we're thinking can affect the gut, and the gut can affect the thinking.
The butterfly
It's
feeling.
just constant. It can become a vicious cycle.
Yes, if you're constantly anxious, agitated, then imagine what's gonna happen. Like when I was preparing for the talk and I was like, oh my god, the TV's not working. This is not working, and I could feel like something. Yeah, but don't stay in that like longer. That could be dangerous. So keeping a strong mucus layer, like this green thing, the strong mucus layer. It's a really good idea. Good nutrition with lots of proteins and omegas and vitamin D, A, friendly microbes. But friendly microbes only come when the gut lining is intact. Please don't introduce them before, because they might just go into the bloodstream. When your gut lining is not intact, don't eat probiotics. Avoid histaminic vegetables.
Yeah.
Avoid probiotics.
Yeah,
So-
just the doctor who said so.
Yeah, I know. But this is one of my protocol. Like what I like to do. This is my approach. Number one is reduce histaminic foods.
What is that?
There are some foods which produce histamine. So histamine is, you know how when you get allergic reactions and you start scratching, like if you have cat allergy or pollen allergy. Somatostatin, what we studied, it inhibits histamine inside the stomach. Histamine is just nothing. It's something which will flare you up and give you itchiness and make your skin red and start the whole inflammatory reaction. Inflammatory reaction is nothing. It will just put your body in an alarm, like ding, 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 ding. But somatostatin is responsible to bring down that alarm system. Now, when you have bad bacteria, H. pylori, you don't have somatostatin. There are no regulatory functions going on. There's nothing. Everything. It's a chaotic city. Anybody can come, do anything. People are robbing. They're coming in and out of the fence. There's no check and balance. There are no bodyguards.
You said histamine? It's called-
So histaminic foods, there are certain foods like aged cheese, kombucha, kefir, sauerkraut. They're rich in probiotics. Bananas, spinach, tomatoes, pineapples.
They do have that histamine.
They are rich in histamine. Histamine is not bad for us. For a normal person, I can eat anything. But for anybody with a leaky gut, who has gut issues, control, because you don't want histaminic foods to flare up the whole cytokine reaction. You don't want the security guards up. You don't want alarms. You're working on the enterocytes. You're working on the mucus layer. You're working on those villi to keep them intact.
Yeah.
Right. So don't introduce histaminic foods. Don't introduce probiotics. Just stop. The first step is to stop the histamine levels.
So not to-
bananas.
Yeah.
I love bananas, but
I think ripe bananas don't have much histamine. It's just the unripe ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
I become a mucus factory.
Oh, when you eat
What
bananas.
happened? Sorry.
See, this is
Like
why.
this whole thing,
yeah.
like my sinuses, this whole area,
Yeah, could be histamine. So it means
and
you're
that-
histamine.
But apples, tomatoes, that whole lot,
That is-
I'm fine.
Yeah.
No
So
problem.
every
But
person has different kinds of foods, and that's why they say keep a food diary. It could be anything you're allergic to. Sometimes when it's nothing, it's just glyphosate. Glyphosate, you guys know, the pesticidal spray, and other things we might react to. So wash your vegetables properly, like with vinegar or baking soda. Yeah, those kind of practices are really good. And then the things which, like when we have a cat allergy, we eat Allegra or something like antihistamine. But in the alternate medicine, we do quercetin, we do butterbur, boswellia, licorice. So many things you can do to bring down your histamine levels inside the gut. Not talking about outside. Not
Licorice,
just
what does it do on licorice?
licorice. It just brings down the cytokines, the cells which were bringing an inflammatory reaction. These cells,
Yeah.
these red tiny dots, it brings them down. So they stop releasing histamine.
I think she's talking about the plant, not the stuff you go and buy at the store.
Yeah, I'm talking about the herbs.
The plant,
So the
plant.
herbs like quercetin,
Yeah.
butterbur. I will give you this presentation. Don't worry, you will have all the names. There are so many like herbs. You can search them. Herbs which reduce histamine inside the gut. There's so many. Sometimes I just love taking quercetin because in spring you get a lot of pollen. So sometimes I get itchy and I just take quercetin. It helps me. I don't need Allegra. I don't need antihistamines, and it's just natural. Yeah, it's so natural.
Was there allergic to pollen?
I think so. Yeah, I think. Yeah, because I always see in the spring I get very itchy. But I know I am allergic to dust, so I don't know what it is. Dust or... Because when the snow settles down, then you have more wind and dust and everything comes in.
Yeah.
And I like opening my windows, so... Yeah. So the second step is working on the intestinal barrier healing. Like all the gut cells, they should be lined properly intact. Here, meat broth helps a lot. Meat broth has collagen amino acids. Omegas help. Marshmallow root, slippery elm. These are just names, some of fancy names. Maybe you've not heard them before, but it's not marshmallows we get in the market. It's marshmallow root. Yeah. Don't worry, man. I'll send it to you. Don't worry about the names. It's called the GAPS diet, basically GAPS diet. So GAPS, gut and psychology syndrome. Fatima knows that. Amazing. So number 3 is nourish the intestinal lining. Now we're gonna go back on the same lining where we saw the mucus, the good bacteria. We need to nourish these. And how are we gonna nourish them? If they are intact, with bone broth, meat broth, collagen, this mucus will start producing itself from the cells. And then we introduce prebiotics. I know you guys are a little saturated right now, but just hang on. We're almost done.
Yeah, no,
We introduce what are prebiotics? Prebiotics are fibers, cruciferous vegetables. They're a lot of other things which basically go and they're tiny. They make imagine like a tiny grass on which now the probiotics will come and colonize and make their colonies. So those prebiotics, they have some fancy names. I don't want to go into the names, but they're arabinogalactin and stuff. But even the cruciferous vegetables, the green leafy vegetables, all of they work as prebiotics. Once they go settle in the gut lining, prebiotics are there. Now, you know, layer by layer, you're preparing your gut. You prepared the cells first. Then cells started producing mucus. Now you introduce prebiotics, the fiber. Now you will put in probiotics. So you first make the house for them to come and live. If there's no house, where are they going to live? They cannot give babies, they cannot reproduce. So the next step is introducing probiotics, synbiotics. Synbiotics are nothing, they're just, it's a fancy name for when you purchase probiotics and prebiotics in one packet. I don't like that. I like doing the natural way. I like doing eating cruciferous vegetables, which is prebiotics, and then introducing fermented foods, because fermented foods are rich in probiotics. You don't have to buy over-the-counter probiotics. You have sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, kombucha. They're all rich in probiotics and good probiotics.